You ever had friends that just keep cycling back to the same stupid choice? And you can't figure it out because otherwise they're pretty smart people. But except for this area, then they're stupid. It could be dating. Or dating. Or dating. Like, it could be any one of those things. And it could be money. It could be jobs. It could be career. It could be abuse. It could be substance. It's just something that you always go back to and you're like, remember when you were there, how bad your life was? But you can't remember. And so you found a way out and you find a way back. And it's almost like this matrix where you just never escape, because every time you get out, you're back in. Every time you get out, you're back in. You're in severance. And you're never leaving what you're desperate to escape from. It's not incidental that Jesus uses the metaphor. He says, I am the door, or the gate, or the portal. He says, if you come in and through me to the other side, there will be open spaces for you. See, Jesus knows we're all desperately trying to find a way out, but we don't even know out from what and out to what. But you know when you need a way out, when you're trapped in loneliness. See, some of you are desperately afraid you're going to live and die lonely, and you're trying to find a way out. Some of you feel so insignificant, and you just keep pursuing things and trying things and doing things to prove you're not insignificant, but you just can't find your way out. Some of you are just desperate to find a reason to live, and you just can't find your way out. And Jesus understands that in some very peculiar way, we're trapped within the prisons of our own making. And every time we go through the door, we end up in the same cell again. So he said, I've come to give you a way out. And you know what the great escape is? If you can escape death, you can escape anything. See, the moment the tomb was empty, we had hope for everything. Some of you are going, I don't know if God can help me with my problem. Your problem isn't this big. See, I think Jesus just wanted to make a blanket statement. You're trying to get out of your fear or your shame or your guilt or your doubts. You're trying to find a way to freedom from your insignificance or your loneliness. And Jesus says, look, I conquered death. I can find a way out of everything that holds you captive. But you have to want a way out, because you can become too comfortable with being a prisoner of your own choices. I always think it's fascinating when they try to release wild animals that have been raised in captivity, that they don't know how to survive. See, some of us would rather live in the limitations of our bad choices because we don't know if we're capable of living fully free. So Jesus wants us to see that life comes out of death, which I think is an important thing to talk about. Death is the fear of everything we fear, all wrapped up into one. We all fear what we do not know. And the peculiar thing about death is that it just sort of hovers, it looms over us. I mean, I don't want to depress you, but you're dying. And you're going to die, and you're going to die sooner than later. And the moment you took your first breath, you were closer to your last breath. That's just the way life works. And some of you try to live your life unaware of death, and that's why you waste so much of your time. And I've always had kind of a morose relationship to death all my life. Every day I've been aware of that, pretty much. That's why I've always been attracted to the culture of the samurai. Today is a good day to die. There are many days where actually we just tell myself that. And today is a good day to die. And it's not, I didn't want to die that day. I wanted to make sure I lived that day. And that expiration date, what that expiration date is, it creates value. Do you have things in your refrigerator that are past the expiration date? Have you ever thought to yourself, I wonder if it's still good? The things that have no expiration date, you just leave them there forever. I'll just eat them, 3 or 4 years. It's okay. They'll be fine. But when things have an expiration date, their value increases. I've eaten things the day before the expiration date, not because I was hungry, And not because I wanted it. I'm not going to let it expire. I paid for that. It has value to me, so I eat it. And the same way, we would treat the smallest item with an expiration date. It's bizarre to me that we treat our lives with less value. Maybe you should just have an expiration date branded on you. What would you do if you knew the day? Like Tuesday, 2023, April. How would that change the way you lived today? How would it change for you the value of Monday if it was your last Monday? Is it possible that death isn't as bad as we think?